Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and we are back after a 2 weeks break, and it is match day 11 in Bundesliga. And before the international break, a lot of exciting stuff happened, and that has given Bayern Munich a sort of edge in the rankings. It was a very tight situation at the top of the table, with Bayern and Leipzig going toe to toe on the level points. But the last two games before the international break has brought an 5 point lead for Bayern Munich, and they would hope that it can continue for them. And they are starting the match day match day 11. Sorry, we are going to start with Bayern Munich, and they would hope that they can extend that lead from 5 to 8 points. They are going to play Augsburg, and it is first versus 13th in the game. It is going to be a very important game. It is going to be a very crucial game for Bayern Munich. They are at home. Everybody sort of expects them to get the win against Augsburg, who themselves are, Augsburg. They have played 10 games. They won 3, drew 3, and lost 4. So they every weekend it's a different sort of result from them. They are quite inconsistent at the moment, and this is another one of those games where you expect Augsburg to lose the game, but they can go ahead and they can cause an upset, and they can take points away from Bayern Munich. Augsburg have sort of been the team, one of those teams this season. They drew against Hoffenheim just before the international break. That was the sort of game that everybody expected them to win, but they ended up drawing that game. Bayern Munich, they played a very, very tough game against St. Pauli. It was a 1-0 win against St. Pauli, and everybody expected that to be a tough game, because St. Pauli have become, in the last few weeks they have become a very tough team to beat, and Bayern Munich found it very hard to beat them, but they somehow got the win. That was very crucial for them. I think this is going to be another tough game, because you are coming back after the international breaks, and a lot of the players, you are not really at 100%. There are some injuries lying around as well, so it is going to be a tough game as well. I think it will be a close game, but I just think because Bayern are at home and it is Allianz Arena, and they know how important this game is, I think they are going to get it in the back. Somehow they are going to win it. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Bayern Munich. The next game is Borussia Dortmund versus a Freiburg. It is 7th versus a 5th. And now Dortmund have been really, really inconsistent this season. Like the last 5 results are defeat, victory, defeat, victory, and defeat. So you really don't know which Dortmund are gonna come up at the weekend, and it is really hard to call for them, because they play. I don't know what's really going on with them, because they play different type of football in just one single game. They will play amazingly for 30 minutes, and then the next 20 minutes it will be disastrous for them, and that is why they are so inconsistent. Forget about being inconsistent different weekends. They are so inconsistent in a single game, so you really don't know what you can expect from Borussia Dortmund. They are playing against Freiburg, a side who were on a really good run of games. It was really hard for them. They were winning week after week, but the last 3 weeks they have just last 3 games they have just have 2 points. They have lost 1 and drawn 2, and that is unlike Freiburg. That has sort of put a halt to their momentum. Otherwise they were going really toe to toe with Leipzig and Bayern at the top, but currently they are fifth, because of those last 3 weekends that they have not been able to get a win, and they would really hope that this could be the weekend where they go ahead and get the win. It is another tough game for them. They are playing against a Borussia Dortmund side, but the fact of the matter is that, as I said, that Dortmund are so inconsistent at the moment, that you can easily go ahead and get the win. They drew against Union Berlin just before the international break. Freiburg did, and whereas Borussia Dortmund, they got destroyed by Mainz 3-1. So I think Freiburg are gonna go with this attitude. Just go ahead and go and attack Dortmund and put them under pressure. Dortmund are going to be at home as well, so the fans are going to be up for it. And if you sort of get take the front foot, take the advantage against Dortmund, it could be a very bad day for them, and the added pressure of being at home is could come in and play a big part for them. I think Dortmund are going to suffer another defeat. I just think Freiburg are going to get that important win that they really need to turn their season around and get back to those winning goals. I think this could be the game, and I think Borussia Dortmund are going to suffer another defeat. I think it will be a very close game, a hard fought game, but I think Freiburg are going to negate in that. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Freiburg. Moving on to the next game, it is Wolfsburg versus Union Berlin. It is 12th versus 6th. Wolfsburg, they have been really inconsistent, if I'm being very honest with you. But we sort of expected this from Wolfsburg. They are always really inconsistent. Everybody thought they were going to finish in mid-table because of their inconsistency, and it is what is happening in the season as well. Like, they are very good for 2 games, and then the next 2-3 games they will be absolutely a disastrous performance will come from them. So it is not a really surprise. They won 3-1 against Heidenheim just before the international break. That was a great performance, and it was an away day as well. So that's what I'm saying. And now they are at home. You would expect that they were going to give you a good performance, but they could bring out one of the worst performances that you could imagine from them. They are playing against a UB side who are doing really good, especially they are doing a lot better than I expected. They are sixth at the moment, and they are really fighting for that Champions League place, and they know how important this game is. Well, they are both both these teams are divided by six. Well, like they are six. Union Berlin and Wolfsburg are 12, but the points difference is just 4 points. Like if Wolfsburg win this game, they could easily go just a point behind Union Berlin. That's how close the league is at the moment, and that's why every single game is very crucial. I think it will be a very close game, and I think it will be a hard fought game, but I just don't see a winner out of this game. I think it is going to end up in a draw, and I think it will be a very low scoring draw as well. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Wolfsburg and Union Berlin. The next game is Leverkusen versus Heidenheim, the champions. They are fourth at the moment, playing against Heidenheim, who are 14th in the league. Like both of these teams are not really doing that well. Leverkusen, I think they would be really disappointed with how the things have turned out this season. They have won just once in their last 5 games. 4 of them have been draws, and they have drawn against sides that you would expect them to win. Like the game against just before the international break was against Bochum, who are at the bottom of the league. They have not won a single game. They had just 1 point before playing Leverkusen, and everybody thought Leverkusen were going to go there, they were going to thrash Bochum and get the easy 3 points, but it did not turn out that way. They ended up drawing them 1-1, and that is the problem with Leverkusen this season, that they are not able to get the wins that they were getting last year, and that is why they are fourth place in the league, and the title sort of feels like it is already out of their reach. It is still early, it is just 10 games, but at the way the things are going, I think it is pretty much looking like that Leverkusen might not be able to catch Munich this season. But they are playing against an Heidenheim side who are all over the place. They lost 3-1, as I said, to Wolfsburg. They have just 4 defeats in their last 5 games, just 1 point out of the possible 15 out of the last 5 games, and they are really slipping into that relegation places. They are 14, but they are on 10 points. Like 15th team place has 9 points. St. Pauli on 16, they have 9 points. Just one bad game. They lose this game, and the teams behind them win this game, and they would be in those relegation places. So it's a very tough game for them, and unfortunately for them, I think this is going to be the game where somehow Leverkusen get that confidence back. They are coming back after the international break, so sometimes that could turn out to be negative, sometimes it could turn out to be positive. I think for Leverkusen it could be a positive thing, because Heidenheim are so down and out. I think Leverkusen are gonna get the win, and they are gonna get back to winning ways, and I think it will be an easy win. If I'm being very honest with you, Heidenheim have not given me anything, and their performance have not been any good to give me any confidence to say that they are going to give a tough time to Leverkusen. I think it will be a very easy game for Leverkusen. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Bayer Leverkusen. The next game is Stuttgart versus Bochum. It is 11th versus 18th. Stuttgart, like they are all over the place. They are so inconsistent. They started the season really good, but they have now dropped down into the bottom half of the table. They lost just before the international break against Frankfurt. That was a really good game of football. They ended up losing 3-2, but it was one of the best games of the weekend in the entire of Europe just before the international break. So they would be really it was a hard break for them to lose that game. They are playing against a Bochum side, like 10 games in, they are unable to win a single game. They've stopped that losing streak. They lost 6 continuous game, and they somehow drew against Leverkusen. How they managed to do that, nobody knows, but they somehow got the point. But they are still under winless in Bundesliga, 10 games in, and it is not really looking good for them. And I think this could really be the season where they go out. They somehow managed to survive last season where they finished 16th, and they won that qualification relegation promotion playoff, and they stayed in Bundesliga. But this season it is not looking good, and I think it is gonna be continue. They are going to stay winless this weekend as well, and I think Stuttgart are they should win this game, and I think they are going to win it. They have good enough players in their squad to get the win against the Bochum, and I think it will be an easy win as well. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Stuttgart. The next game is Hoffenheim versus Leipzig. It is a 15th versus a second. Hoffenheim, they have just won once in their last five games, and they've drawn three of their last five games as well. So it is, I know, not been a good, really a good season for them. I expected a lot better for them from them, but they are not really playing that good football, and they have been quite disastrous in the league. Like they are so inconsistent, they are not really able to hold on to the leads they get, and when they go behind, they somehow manage to get it back, but they are, they just like basically like a Dortmund, they play different games in in one single match. They are playing different games. They will look really good for 15-20 minutes, then it will go to pass, then they again will look really good for 15-20 minutes, and then they will go away. It is like a loose concentration. They are not really able to concentrate for a lot of time, and that is what's hurting Hoffenheim this season. They drew a lot just before the international break, and they are playing against a Leipzig side who the last 2 weeks have basically, in a way you could say, given away the title. They went toe to toe with Bayern Munich. Even when they played Bayern Munich, they did not lose from them. They ended Leverkusen's undefeated streak, but the last two games they have lost, and then they drew last weekend as well against Gladbach. So they're 5 points behind against Bayern Munich. So it's a must win game for them, and they're playing against the Hoffenheim side who are really struggling. So you should expect Leipzig to win, and I think that they need to go ahead and they need to win that game no matter what happens, because if they don't, and I think Bayern Munich are going to win that game, and if that gap becomes an 8-point gap, or even let's say a 7-point gap as well, I think it will be a disaster for them, and that is why they have to win this game, and I think they are going to win it. I think it will not be that much of a close game. I think Hoffenheim might score, but I think Leipzig are going to win it. In that, I'm going for a 3-1 win for the away side. Moving on to the next game, it is a Frankfurt versus a Werder Bremen. It is third versus eighth in the league, and now Frankfurt, they have been the surprise package of this season. I've been saying this for the last 3-4 weeks, and I'm going to say it again. That front two of Ekiteke and Mamush, I think it is the best one in the Europe. Nobody is doing counter-attacking football the way Frankfurt are doing this season. I mean, they are breathtaking on that counter-attack. They are so good to watch, and they are slowly becoming like one of my favorite teams to watch in Germany. I think I'm really rooting for Frankfurt this season to somehow get the win. I think they are going to finish in the Champions League, but if they somehow win the Bundesliga, I think that would be really amazing, because nobody expects them to do it, and the way they are playing, it's really good. They won their last two games as well. It was a great win, that 3-2 win just before the international break. They are playing against Bremen side, who themselves won a very tight game just before the international break, and they've sort of come into those in that top 10. They started the season really slow, Bremen, but they've slowly come back, and they are now in the top 8, and they are fighting to get in those European places. I think it will be a very tight game, but Frankfurt being at home and the crowd being really up for it, I think they are gonna get the win. I think it will be a very close game, and I am expecting a high scoring game. I think it will be end up with the same score line of a victory that they got just before the international break. I think it will be another close game, high scoring game. I'm going for a 3-2 win for Frankfurt. The next game is Holstein Kiel versus Mainz. It is 17th versus 10th. Now Holstein Kiel, they have just won once in this season. That was just before the international break. A week before that, but just before the international break, they lost to Bremen 2-1. It's really hard to predict for them. They are playing against a Mainz side who destroyed Borussia Dortmund 3-1 just before the international break, and Mainz are one of those teams that could be really good one weekend and then completely go away the next weekend. And I think Holstein Kiel would be really happy to face Mainz after the international break, because that could be come to their advantage. The players are not going to be, some of them might be injured, and after the international break, these are the games where the teams who are really struggling, who are at the bottom of the table, somehow try to get the points, especially when you are at home. I think Holstein Kiel would be really up for this game, and they know that this is one of those games where they can go ahead and take points away from Mainz. But Mainz, as I say, they are really trying to get into those European places. It is so tight in that place, and any team, at the moment, everything is open for every team, and I think that is why it is a big game for them. And even though they are coming back after the international break, I think they are going to really try to get something to make sure that they get the 3 points. But just because Holstein Kiel are at home and it is international break, I think they are going to get something out of this game. I think Mainz are going to draw points, and their great performance against Borussia Dortmund just before before the international break is unfortunately gonna go down the drain. I think they are gonna draw points here. I think Kyle are somehow gonna get a point out of this game. I think it'll be a very hard fought game, but I don't think we are gonna see goals in this game. I think we are it's going to be a sort of a boring game, and I'm going for a 0-0 draw between Holstein Kiel and Mainz. And the last game of a match day 11 in Bundesliga this season is Mönchengladbach versus FC St. Pauli. It is 9th versus a 15th, and I think it would be a very tough game. Mönchengladbach, they have just won once in their last 5 games, and they've been so inconsistent. They are not really able to finish up the games, and I think, as I said, they are really inconsistent. They have one of the best strikers, in my opinion, in Kleindicht in the league. He's continuously giving them goals, and I think he's one of the reasons that they are in a way at the moment safe at the moment. Otherwise they could have been in really in trouble if he was not scoring all those goals, and I think that is a very important transfer. I said that at the beginning of the summer as well. I think so keeping him fit is a big thing for them, and if some other players around him help them, they could easily go ahead and try to compete for those European places. That was the aim just before the season started, that somehow try to get in those European places, but they have not really been able to keep up. He is performing, but the other team players are not really performing with him. They are playing against a St. Pauli side who everybody thought they were just gonna finish 18. They were not gonna really do anything in the league, but they have sort of become the surprise. They are playing really good this season. They have gotten a couple of wins already, and this is one of those games, and I mean, they made a hard work for Bayern Munich last weekend just before the international break. They lost, but they lost just 1-0. It was really hard for Bayern Munich to break them down. Their keeper is a really good player, and I'll be very honest with you, I just don't see him staying at St. Pauli for more than one season. I think this is going to be his last, and I think he's going to be taken away to a bigger club in Bundesliga or somewhere in Europe. I don't think I see him staying here, and I think this is going to be another one of those games where as St. Pauli make it very hard for Mönchengladbach to break them down. Even though they are going to be the away team, I think they are going to make it very hard for them, and I think they are going to hit them on the counter. It could be a really surprise win for St. Pauli here. Mönchengladbach are that sort of a team where if things don't work out for them, they really crumble quite quickly, and I think St. Pauli could take advantage of that because nobody expects them to win in this game. But I think this could be one of those games where we have the shocker of the weekend right at the end. But I'm going to stay on the fence in this game. I just don't see a clear-cut winner out of this game, so that is why I'm going to stay on the fence. I think it will be a draw, and we are going to get goals in this game. I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Mönchengladbach and FC St. Pauli, sorry. And with that, my prediction for match day 11 in Bundesliga are complete. We're going to see how many of them are correct and how many of them are completely off the radar at the end of the weekend. You guys can mention, make your predictions in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys think of my predictions as well. That is it from me in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and please subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to those 500 subscribers. Like, that is the goal, as quickly as possible. So please go ahead and help the channel and subscribe to it and help it grow. Until next time, bye bye.